So you decided to become a content creator and you're making so much content, it's getting out there, but you're starting to feel like I'm getting a little burnt out. I'm starting to get a little depressed. The realities of a lot of this content is hit or miss. Some of it is working, a lot of it is not. I'm not making money. Trust me, I understand how you feel. I have been a digital marketer for the last 15 years and I've learned a lot, and I'm here to help you.
I posted more than 500 TikTok videos in 1 year and the creator burnout was real. Yeah, real talk. 2 weeks ago, I just hit a wall. I've had so much fun building multiple channels that have all been very successful, but put simply, I needed a break, so I stopped creating content and even stopped using TikTok in general.
First things first, you gotta recognize the signs of burnout. This can be lack of fatigue, this can be feeling overwhelmed, this can be a big driving factor. So these are the red flags that you wanna pay attention to. The American Psychological Association said that 79% of workers experience work-related stress that led to burnout. Content creators are no different. Establishing a healthy routine can play a big role in trying to avoid these issues. You know, how you wake up in the morning, what you do throughout the day, and the things that you're trying to attain need to be a part of this process, but it has to be set up in a way that is healthy for you, especially at your mental state. Let's be real about it. Burnout is a thing that affects us all, from the work world to business world, even down to, you know, being a content creator. So we have to be aware of these things in order to keep pushing forward, because life factors are going to happen. These things are going to stress us out, but in order to avoid these situations, we have to be in tune with ourselves as well as in tune with our minds in order to grow in this process.
This is how I avoid burnout as someone that posts every day on 2 TikToks and 2 Instagram accounts. When I feel like I'm about to lose my shit, I go on what I call a vanity metric cleanse. This cleanse usually only lasts a couple of days, but what I do is I'll post my content and I leave the app. I don't look at any of the likes, comments, or views. It may sound contradicting from someone like me because I tell you to look at analytics, but in times of need, it's important to come back to your purpose. The most important thing as a creator is consistency and longevity, but that's also the hardest thing to master. It's hard to let feedback, good or bad, to positively affect you when you're not in the right headspace. I take this time to get refocused and re-inspired. The feedback will be there when you're ready.
Make time for activities like exercising, meditation, and these wellness tools can help you get through this situation. I know I've experienced these type of ups and downs when it comes to being an entrepreneur and experiencing burnout, ups and downs with my business. In order to stay consistent throughout these times, I just got in the gym. Now, is every day easy? No, but being in the gym, being able to exert, being able to get that stress off you and work your way through that is a big deal, because, you know, if you go in there, you set the objective of, I'm going to work out 30 minutes a day and stay consistent to it. At the end of this process, during this process, you're going to start to see development in yourself. Self-development is a big deal when it comes to trying to break through as an entrepreneur, especially as a content creator. The Mayo Clinic has been able to establish an understanding that taking care of yourself leads to a better mood as well as more higher energy levels. So, you know, if the Mayo Clinic said that these things work, why not try them? So that's why I say, like, establishing self-care can put you in a better headspace in order to push through.
One of the things I've noticed about content creators, it's hard to stay passionate. Question is, can you stick it out? I believe you can. Of course, if you want to pivot, you want to launch something new, it's totally fine to transition, but perhaps you just need some time to dramatize it again, to repackage it for yourself, to figure out the 4.0 version of your personal brand, of your identity, to figure out what is this next season going to look like.
Revamp your content creating routine. You know, things like changing up your workspace, working in different areas to get more inspiration can play a big role in this as well, because if you're always confined to the same area, it can really throw off your mojo. I remember reading a book called Atomic Habits, and one of the things that he said in there was, you know, changing up your routine in terms of where you work, where you operate, where you sleep should be different from where you work, and where you work should be different from where you sleep. These things psychologically can play a big role in you being able to stay mentally healthy and mentally fit in order to make the proper type of content that you're trying to make. You know, and this also pertains to starting a new hobby, like having your hobby, whatever that is. Maybe that hobby is content creation that you eventually want to turn into a 9-to-5. So, you know, your process to how you organize your content can play a big role in this. So that habit needs to turn into something that's productive, and it can't be something that is, nonstop 24 hours out of the day, because you need to make sure you're protecting your mental health throughout this whole ordeal. A lot of people only want to look for the virality. They want to, hey, I want to hit 1 million subscribers, I want to hit 1 million views. That pushing through and making 100 views or that 1,000 views or whatever that benchmark is for you is a big deal. So celebrating the small wins can also help with yourself, because that dopamine that you need in order to proceed is a big deal. So celebrating those small wins, putting those up on the board, looking at them, how can you improve? What did you do wrong, and how can you make that situation better for yourself and better for the viewer to spark more engagement is a big deal. Speaking of engagement, make sure you drop a like down below and smash that like button, and I appreciate it.
How often roughly do you post on YouTube?
So for me now, I'm just riding the wave. I try not to put too much pressure on myself about how frequently I'm going to upload. When I feel good and I'm feeling like in the creative spirit and mindset, that's when I create and that's when I upload. I used to push myself to just create, and it wasn't necessarily the best of what I knew that I could do. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm doing this differently now. I have to create when I'm in that space.
At the end of the day, it sounds like it's less stressful on your mental as well, because when you're just pushing yourself, you burn out
very fast. And that's what was happening. I was having burnout so often. I was exhausted, and numbers can encourage you to do more, or it can get to burnout very fast.
Because the reality of the situation for me is that I became an entrepreneur when it wasn't cool. I became an entrepreneur, 2006. And during that time, it was, I was trying to be a college student. I was trying to be a rapper. I was trying to do a lot of things during that time. And then I found music, and that was my way. And I would make content, make music, make tracks all the time. And I did that for 10 years. And then becoming an entrepreneur in that process, because I stopped going to college, I needed to make money. I'm running a recording studio, booking time, doing all those things, running rapid, staying up late, thousands of hours of studio sessions and trying to pursue music. That burnt me out. And then, okay, I can't move home and be broke. So I need to create some kind of business before I go back home to Tampa. And I create online business at a time where I didn't know anybody creating an online business. This was like 2006, and running a different type of business where I had a voiceover business for like years. We would sell advertisements to Bacardi, we would sell advertisements to BET, all kind of Kentucky Derby. We did a lot of different things. And during that phase of creating that and running that business, it was purely a sales business. I got burnt out. I was doing that for like, 6 years. And then picking up my trade and becoming a SEO, a search engine optimization specialist, and dropping out of college a second time. Now we're in like 2014 range. And I'm like fully pursuing this because I'm learning so much, and the internet is rapidly changing. During this time, you could create a $60,000 business from search engine optimization in like 3 to 6 months tops. You can go from investing a couple $100, a couple $1,000 and making 4 to 5 figures a month quick. This was the golden age. Well, some people say the golden age of the internet was a .com boom, but anywho, I digress. I say this to say, like, during this time span of like, I'm selling thousands of products on the internet from SEO. I'm shipping to continents. Dang near all of the continents are getting shipped to, aside from Antarctica. Like experiencing like crazy growth, generating crazy amounts of money, and all of that running rapid, shipping products, running across town, trying to keep up with demand, and not traveling, not taking care of myself. My girl is traveling, but I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not doing the things that I need to do because I'm too busy trying to chase the money, and I'm not chasing my passion, which is creativity, peace, and relaxing, and focusing on what's important and my why. So I'm telling you this as someone that has experienced burnout from having internet entrepreneur career over the last 15 years. I want you to be healthy. I want to make content that resonate with you specifically because I know what you're going through. I know exactly what you're going through. So to bring things full circle, During the daytime, I'm a senior digital marketing specialist. At night, I'm a YouTuber and I make content about, digital marketing and documentaries on another channel. But my why is I enjoy helping people work at their passions, their business adventures, or if they're trying to become a content creator and they want to learn how to promote themselves and market themselves. I do consulting and coaching work on the side. So I get the honor of hearing a lot of people voice their aspirations and goals. And even with doing this, there's so many people out there that are not happy at what they're doing because they're working some job that they're not proud of, or they're working some job that's pulling them away from their passion. And in order to tap into that passion of staying up a couple extra hours late and putting in that work and working diligently and trying to build and nourish that skill set or adventure of a business that they want to build.
Content creator burnout. Yes, it happens. It's happened to me multiple times. Been posting consistently on TikTok for over a year now. And you just have to put up some boundaries for yourself. Stop the scrolling. Focus on creating content over consuming it. Stop watching the creators that you just love to watch because you hate them. Look at your content creation as a business task. Something that you have to do that is propelling your business forward. Now, I look at my TikTok account as part of my business, obviously, but when I start to get tired and burnt out with the whole social media thing and I've got to post here and post there and do this and do that, I take a step back and think, this is my job now. It's either this or going back to a 50-hour-a-week work week. Now, in saying that, a lot of people have to create content around their full-time job, and I had to do that for a while as well, but it meant that I could leave that job and do this full-time.
How to get out of burnout as a content creator is going to be an ongoing thing. I think it really, to bring it full circle, I think it really boils down to how you budget your time. Are you staying organized? Because being organized is a big deal. I can tell you, working in the marketing space, that there's so many different tasks that we have to fulfill throughout the day. There's so many different things of omni channels and what platforms we're going to advertise on and what's the ad spend on these projects. Are we using Google ads? Are we using Instagram ads? How are we positioning a CTA? All these different things that we got to think about, as well as the messaging with the content. Is it resonating with people well, and how we're going to properly promote these things? All these different aspects, you have to stay organized. I can tell you that when I first got into the space, I wasn't organized. I would just have everything on my desktop, all my files and folders all over the place. But then I started buying proper courses, started learning about how to properly manage my time, because I don't have a formal education when it comes to doing this. I've learned all this stuff on my own, making mistakes, building businesses, and throughout this whole journey of learning, error, improving, scaling up, scaling back, making the necessary adjustments so the business can properly thrive. I think I give a unique perspective for content creators, because not having the proper mindset for this whole process that you're going through is disingenuous to your process. Because even though you're a content creator, you're an entrepreneur. So you have to learn to think like an entrepreneur, especially if you want this to turn into something that can pay all your bills. Because I can tell you firsthand, as somebody that has been an entrepreneur for 15 years, really 20 years, 2 decades, because I've always made my own way. I just recently started having an actual job after COVID. So that was the first time in history that I've ever had a job after COVID, because, like myself and a whole bunch of other people, COVID put everybody in a real difficult space financially. We had to rebuild. And so the rebuilding process, I could tell you as a content creator now, and also having the perspective of being an entrepreneur, a digital entrepreneur, I say to you, keep going. You're going to get tired. Shit's going to get real, and also just practicing gratitude. Like when you guys drop comments and you leave them down below, this is a small channel. So I interact with everybody, and as the channel continuously grow, I'm still going to interact with everybody to the best of my abilities. And my gratitude to everybody that even takes the time to drop a comment and tell me what they think about the video. I'm listening, good or bad, I'm listening, and I appreciate the support. So if you could drop a thumbs up on this video, I greatly appreciate it. But just practicing gratitude and staying centered and humble in the process is a huge deal, especially when you want to be successful at becoming a content creator. So these are things that I think play a big role in how to avoid burnout, you know, because if you're just making stuff just to make stuff and you're not focusing on building quality, then you're doing a disservice to the people. You know, you have to be able to make stuff that people can find useful, because otherwise you're just making nonsense. There's too many mumble rappers out there. What about the people that bring genuine value to the audience, to the viewer? You know, very rarely do you have that. You have a whole bunch of the other stuff. And then a lot of times I have to like really evaluate my workload, because I've ran a t-shirt printing business, I've ran a hair extension business, I've ran a lot of different online businesses. And I can tell you that throughout that whole process, like evaluating what's gonna bring me the least amount of stress, because that's what you're gonna have to deal with, especially if you're gonna try to be an entrepreneur. That's why even with my consulting business, I don't want to take on a whole bunch of clients. A lot of y'all have reached out to me to help you with your projects, and I greatly appreciate that. And but I don't want to take on a lot of projects right now. I want to still help people, coach you, give you advice. You know, maybe you might need some insight, or you're at a brick wall with what you're doing and you may not know how to maneuver. I have no problem helping those folks, you know, but just fully taking on projects, I'm not there anymore in my phase right now. I've spent a long time working on being in-house for 30 different websites and SEO and all of the websites and running ads and all the stuff on all the websites. And maybe at some point I'll have the infrastructure to do that, but I'm working with a small team, and my team, we just kind of keep it tight, and we're not trying to be all over the place with it. But I think a lot of people run the risk of trying to build agencies and not knowing that you actually have to deliver results. And if you're diluting your efforts, you're not going to be the most effective. That's why if you're looking for somebody to book time with, you want to get insight, there's a link in the description below. We can get on a one-on-one call, and maybe I can help you find some trouble areas in your business. But once again, yours truly, Casey versus the Internet. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and keep it locked.